Good morning and welcome to our little art studio. For your supplies today, you want to have a variety of markers, colors that represent your favorite flavors of things. I don't want to give away too much just yet. So I've got a bunch. This is going to be chocolate for me. This is going to be strawberry. My Sharpie, you can use any marker that won't smear. And then pencil and eraser. This is actually my drawing pencil, but it doesn't matter. You can have any type of pencil and then your eraser. A ruler if you'd like. You could always use a straight edge of a book. Any of that will work. What we're going to do today is make donuts. Yes, donuts. Right here, donuts. Okay, technically not donuts you eat, but well, let's take a peek. Oh my goodness. Donut kids, maybe? Let's see what it says. Donut stress, double donuts breath. Wait, did I read that correctly? Oh, no. Do not stress. We have double donuts breath. That's kind of cool that it do not and donuts, they're very, very similar. But for our activity today, you want to have either your plain white paper from like a printer, maybe even your sketchbook paper or your Bristol paper, which I always tend to have, and or cardstock. But make sure it's white and you have all your supplies. Okay. One of the things, so what I did for me is I did write do not stress as a reminder for myself. Basically you could put do double donuts breath, but I didn't need to say do because I have a little key word in here that says, let's see if we can see it. Start. Yeah, it's kind of cool. We'll get to that. Okay. So the first thing, I'm just going to move this out of the way so you have an idea of where we're going. Okay. So here is my plain white paper. I'm not going to put the title on there, but you can if you want to. And if you do want to think, and you can write it as big as you want, small as you want, but put it up at the top and then add your donuts down at the bottom. Our paper is going landscape, right? Long side to side instead of portrait, tall from up and down. So we've got it landscape. Now, when I first did this activity, I thought, oh, I want to trace a circle. And so I got my cup and I traced around it. And now I have Sharpie on my cup. And then I thought, why? I don't need to do that. So what I did is I thought, donuts aren't perfect, right? They're not like perfect circles that you might find in math. But so instead, I thought just draw some circles. Now, you are welcome to draw with your pencil first and then outline with your marker. I always just draw with my marker first. It kind of is interesting. It's a process I have practiced over the years, many, many years, that now I'm quite used to it. What it helps me do is I just can't worry about how it turns out. It turns out how it turns out. I can't take away the marker. And so I kind of like those happy irregularities that happen, when you do something first with markers. So here we go. One of the things we do want to think about, though, is we have to have room for both of our donuts, their centers, and some arrows that we're going to place around our donuts. Okay. All right. So the first part we're going to add, though, is this dollop of frosting, I guess, flavor. I don't know what it's called when you put the stuff on a donut. But we're going to start with this little dollop because that helps us place. It's not really high at the top and it's not really low, but it's kind of right here in the middle. And that helps us give direction of where our donuts will go. And you want to leave it big enough that you can write the word start in the center. That's going to be super important. I have a big fat Sharpie. I think I'll use a smaller one to write the word. So I'm trying to put letters in there with this big fat tip. Not gonna work. Start. Okay. We're not adding any color to our donuts yet. The nice thing about having our blob, our frosting blob or dollop, is right to the right, probably about 3 fingers width. I use my hands all the time as measuring tools. I don't use a ruler all the time. But about 3 fingers width, I'm going to add the center of my first donut. And then same on the other side, the center of my second donut. Does it matter if they're exactly the same? Nope. Now, what's really cool is you're going to start from the top and you're just going to fall kind of like a big wide outline of the small circle, follow it around and end up at the start. One thing I want to show you that it's kind of a secret artist trick, that when you are making big lines or lines that go farther than your wrist, if I try to make that big circle with just my wrist and I don't move my forearm, I am going to end up, I'll show you, here's a practice. If I just stay here and I don't move my wrist, I really can't get very big. That's what I end up with. When I have my donut and I move my arm instead of my wrist, now that gives me full range of motion. And that's what I need to make these big old donuts. See my whole arm is moving, full range of motion coming back. It's okay if it's a bit wonky. Guess what? Go check out your donuts at the bakery. They're wonky. All right, next one, going the opposite direction, moving that your whole arm, bringing it around. There we go. Awesome. 2 big old donuts. Now, the next step that is super important is our arrows. They're actually going to go in opposite directions. So starting on the left side, we will have one arrow that follows the shape of our donut, pointing that way. And then it's going to come down the side this way. I'll slow down a little bit. And then this is going to follow back up to the start, going that way. On this side, we're going to go the opposite direction, going this way. Coming down this side. And then we're going to end up, see, you turn your paper to make it work for you. Don't forget that. We're going to end up over here. All right. Take a few minutes to get that done. And so your first arrow comes from the start, going up over the top, second arrow coming down the side, and the third arrow going underneath to return to the start. And then our next set of arrows goes up over the top, comes down the side, and swings up to the start. Okay, take just a few minutes to do that. While you're thinking or putting that down on your paper, for any of my friends that have already done that, there are 2 other words that we want to add to our donuts. The first word on our left side is the word in, I-N, and the second word on our right side donut is the word out. Out. Okay. There you go. Awesome. Now, this is a super, I mean, it's all fun, but this is when you get to decide what flavor your donuts are. And this is how we're going to draw our icing. That's what it's called, not frosting. My goodness. Okay, but before we can draw our icing, on this one, we're going to give them a big straight line up above, kind of in the center between our outer part of the donut and the inner part, and then a big U underneath. That's going to be his mouth. Big eyes, big old happy eyes, wide awake, saying, "Oh my goodness." And then make sure you do color in his mouth. You can add a tongue if you want, whatever you want to do. You can give him teeth. I'm just going to fill mine in solid. There we go. And on the other side, this fella, it's like, oh my goodness, we did it. Little upside down U's, really stretched out, kind of big full cheeks over here. Okay. All right. Now to add the icing. This is so interesting because when I see a picture like this, I'm like, oh goodness, I'm not sure how to do that. But check this out. It's just wiggly lines from one side, one edge of your donut, coming in all the way to the other side. You can come from there. You can make it really full of icing. You could come all the way over here and end up to where that blob is. You can even make it, whoa, crazy icing. Look at, he almost looks like a potato, but that's okay. Now icing over here. All right. Okay. Are we done yet? Oh no. Here it comes another fun part. Now, you get to pick the color of your icing, and you can even pick the color of your actual donut. Oh, my goodness, I almost forgot. Let's add some sprinkles to our donuts. This one, I'm going to give kind of like rectangular sprinkles. You do whatever shape you want. That's what's kind of cool about, well, not kind of, totally cool about art is drawing and that type of, it's all made up of just basic shapes, certain types of lines. This one, I'm going to go like that. This guy, I'm going to give some circle sprinkles. I feel like I can actually taste them just looking at them. I do have a confession I have to make about me and donuts. So, my favorite type of donut is maple, preferably a maple bar. I know maple donut and maple bar taste the same. I'm going to be filling in my color right now while I'm sharing this story. So I'm just filling in the color for my donut, and then I'll fill in the color for my icing, and then I'll fill in the color for my sprinkles. So I just picked kind of like a basic peach. I hold my pen kind of different than most, I think, when they're coloring or filling in color. And I'll show you why here in a second. You hold it however you're comfortable. So first, I'm just going to fill in again. Nobody care if you went over lines, because oh goodness, if that was a real donut, you would just lick that up. Okay. So filling in. So I have to tell you about maple bars. I love maple bars. Why not a maple donut? Because the maple bar has more area, right? It's long. It's the same size as if you put it in a circle, but I feel like you get more of the maple icing that runs off the ends and off the sides. And here comes the part that uh, I don't actually like the donut part. I know, I know. I like the icing with a little bit of the donut underneath it. So I will go and eat all around the edges and then kind of like nibble off the top just to get the icing. I know. I've done it since I was a kid. Clearly, I like the sugar the most. And then I'm like, anybody else want the rest of the donut? Everyone's like, absolutely not. Okay, this guy, this was the closest I got to the color maple, I guess. Now, this is one thing I want to show you. The reason why I hold my pen this way is, and you don't have to worry about this. I'm just like to share little art secrets as we go along. But there's a way in which when we color, right? Kind of go back and forth and we go all over. You can do that. It fills it in really quickly, no doubt, right? But our lines kind of crash in. You know, they get really saturated in there and they crash. I like to do what's called like a lawnmower. So this is very relaxing as well as just applying your color. So I just make these nice lines and it looks like after your lawn's been mowed. Follow the shape you have. Go around them if you want. And yeah, just remember to breathe while you're doing this. Do not donut. No, don't worry about I'm not coloring like Miss Kimberly or putting color down. You fill your icing in how you want. But this is how I've always done it. I can even bring it all the way down. You see, I brought my arm all the way down. I didn't try to use my wrist. And it applies the color really well. I usually go in one direction from top to bottom. Again, things you don't have to do or think about, but I like to share them just to explain what I'm doing. It really does fill the space quickly, gives it a bit of a uniformed look if that's what you're going for. But this is so relaxing to me. I think we all know I'll be getting a maple donut when I'm done with this. Man, I should have had some. No, I never would have gone through the video. I would have had sticky stuff all over my hands. Little maple in his eye. How could we not, right? All right. When it's small areas, you can use your wrist to fill in that color. When it's long, and you don't have to use that technique now, just practice it on scratch paper. Just make long lines moving your arm top to bottom or side to side. Your brain loves it. Oh my goodness. The fun thing about having these do not stress double donuts is it it brings some humor, right? Some laughs to us when we're feeling a little stressed about that test, right? So I'm going to finish him off with some, I guess it would be grape. I don't know that sprinkles taste any different from one to the other, but hey, my imagination can pretend. Some blueberries. See, it's a small area. I don't have to pull my arm down. Oh, blue. And then this one, I will make strawberry. I just grabbed whatever red I had. I'm not really sure. Oh, well, it's kind of strawberry or watermelon, if you will. Pulling it down, pulling it down, go around. Don't worry if you go over some lines. Love to I do like to add a little humor to things that might feel a little stressful. This is an activity. Once we get all done filling in the color, I'll show you why they have these arrows and why it'd be really great to have next to you during your test or before your test at any time. You could even picture them once I show you how to use them. You could even picture them in your mind and just trace in the air if you wanted to. All right, I'm almost done there. So we're actually going to be doing a breathing technique, tracing around our donuts. I think I'll give my lime or my icing blob here lime so it kind of stands out. And then over here, we'll add some yellow sprinkles maybe. There we go. All right. He looks so happy to be taking in, and he looks so happy to be releasing. Okay, so what we're going to do with these delicious do not stress double donuts, try to say that 5 times fast, oh my goodness, is we put our finger on the start blob and we're going to breathe in, tracing around these arrows, back to start, and then we exhale. We breathe out, tracing around these arrows and stop. And you can do that 3 or 4 times. You just want to make sure that when you do breathe in, just picture this fun guy. He's so excited to be here with you. And he is saying, take that deep breath in, right? And then this kid over here is saying, nice release of that breath. Okay, let's do it together. Breathe in. In. Out. One more time. In. Out. And there we are. Our do not stress double donuts breath. Thank you for joining me. I would love to see what you create. And I'll let you know next time if I got myself a maple donut bar. All right. Enjoy, keep creating and making. Until next time. Bye.